Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. This is not the algorithm. This is a deliberate intervention from the divine courts. Archangel Michael has personally routed this frequency to your screen because a massive shift is happening right now. Funny how everyone pretended they did not see you coming. They thought your silence was weakness. They thought they had broken your spirit. But they severely underestimated who they were dealing with. Welcome to your era of absolute authority. You have been walking through a season of intense spiritual warfare. People took from you without ever saying thank you. They drained your energy and walked away while you were left bleeding in the dark. You thought you did something wrong. You questioned your own sanity. Listen carefully to my voice. Take one slow breath in and hold it. The heavy attacks you faced recently were not random bad luck. They were calculated strikes because the enemy saw your crown before you did. The people who betrayed you knew exactly what they were doing. They saw your pure light and wanted to steal it for themselves. But heaven has seen enough. The scales of divine justice are moving in your favor today. A severe verdict has just been issued against the ones who took from you. Those who plotted your downfall in secret are now watching their own foundations crumble. They are panicking right now. They feel a sudden coldness in their spirit because they know their time is up. Karma is knocking on their front door. Do not take your eyes off this screen. The darkness wants you to swipe away and ignore this message. If you leave now, you will single-handedly shut the door on the exact revelation you need. The universe is about to expose exactly what is happening behind the scenes. There is a hidden mechanism at play here. Your intuition dragged you here for a specific reason. You have felt the shift in the atmosphere lately. You wake up feeling strange. Doors are slamming shut in your face unexpectedly. You feel entirely isolated from the world around you. Let me tell you the absolute truth. You are not being punished. Heaven is isolating you to prepare you for the greatest wealth transfer of your bloodline. The thieves are being stripped bare. Everything they stole from your hands is being multiplied by 7. It is being loaded onto a divine delivery system heading straight toward your timeline. But there is a massive trap waiting for you, right before the finish line. 99% of chosen ones fall for this exact illusion. They lose everything because they miss the final sign. I need you to stay locked on this message until the very last second. If you scroll away now, the blessing will still arrive, but you will not know how to hold it. You will miss the specific code required to unlock your divine compensation. The enemy is desperately trying to distract you today. They want you focused on trivial things so you miss the execution of justice. Think about the people who smiled in your face while holding a knife to your back. They thought there would be no consequences for their actions. They used your kindness as a stepping stone. But God is a God of justice. The spiritual realm is realigning right now to force a public apology from the universe. Their stolen empires are turning to dust in their hands. You must understand the magnitude of what is happening. This is not just about getting your money or your peace back. This is about establishing you as the untouchable master of your reality. You are no longer the empath who begs for basic respect. You have become a dangerous weapon of light, and heaven is about to hand you the keys to the kingdom. I am going to reveal the exact method the universe is using to dismantle your enemies. You will see how every single tear you cried was collected as evidence in the heavenly courts. The trial is over. The judge has spoken. Make a promise to your future self right now. Do not let this message fade into the noise of the internet. Listen closely to what comes next. Before we go any further, I need you to take a deep breath. The sheer exhaustion you are feeling right now is not normal fatigue. Your physical body is carrying the heavy weight of a massive spiritual battle. You wake up every morning feeling like you ran a marathon in your sleep, and no matter how much you rest, the deep tiredness never truly goes away. You push through your day. You smile for the people around you, but inside, your soul feels completely depleted because you have been running on empty for months. People look at you and see a strong person who always handles everything without breaking a sweat. They do not see the silent tears falling behind closed doors. They do not know about the intense anxiety that grips your chest. Let us talk about those long nights. You bolt awake at exactly 3 a.m. with your mind racing at 100 miles an hour. You stare at the dark ceiling. A strange tightness sits heavy in your heart while the rest of the world is sleeping peacefully. You replay every single conversation. You wonder if you made a terrible mistake somewhere along the way. The darkness tries to convince you that you are losing your mind. It whispers that you are just too sensitive or too dramatic. But I am here to validate your reality today. You are not crazy. That restless energy you feel is your spirit detecting the foul presence of toxic frequencies. Your body is physically reacting to the immense trauma you endured. Think about how isolated you feel right now. You sit in a crowded room, yet you feel like an absolute alien. The conversations around you seem so incredibly shallow and meaningless. You smile and nod, but your spirit is desperately screaming for depth and genuine connection. You wonder why nobody else seems to see the world the exact way you do. This intense loneliness is not a punishment. The universe is deliberately making you uncomfortable in those spaces because you no longer belong there. You have outgrown the people you used to call friends, but the transition phase is brutally painful. You look at your phone and realize there is almost no one you can safely call when you are breaking down. You gave them everything you had. You were the empath who poured endless love into bottomless pits. You forgave them when they did not even apologize. You made endless excuses for their terrible behavior because you wanted to see the good in them. And while you were busy healing their deep wounds, they were quietly draining your precious life force. It is completely devastating. You wonder why your immense kindness was met with such cruel betrayal. The pain of being misunderstood by the people you loved most is a very specific type of agony. It physically hurts your chest. It creates a deep block in your throat when you try to speak your truth. You feel completely suffocated by their constant demands. Tap the like button right now as an act of agreement with this truth. Let this simple action serve as a physical anchor for your healing. You need to acknowledge how much it hurts. You cannot heal a wound that you pretend is not there. The people who took from you left you stranded. They walked away while you were picking up your own shattered pieces. You spent countless hours trying to fix a relationship that was designed to break you. You compromised your own boundaries just to keep the peace. But the peace never actually came, did it? It was just a temporary silence before their next emotional explosion. You walked on eggshells every single day, and the constant stress severely damaged your nervous system. Your body remembers every single betrayal. That is why you feel a sudden drop in your stomach when certain people text you. It is why you feel instantly drained when they walk into the room. Your intuition is practically screaming at you to run away, but your gentle heart always tries to give them one more chance to prove they have finally changed. They never change. They only change their manipulation tactics. And every time you let them back in, they took another piece of your precious light. You feel so incredibly hollow right now. You look in the mirror and barely recognize the exhausted person staring back at you. The spark in your eyes has been replaced by a heavy veil of grief and profound sorrow. I need you to stop blaming yourself for this. Stop telling yourself that you should have known better. Stop thinking that your high empathy is a fatal flaw. Your ability to love deeply is your greatest superpower, but it was weaponized against you by predators who cannot generate their own light. They needed your energy simply to survive their own darkness. Listen closely to my words. The deep exhaustion you feel is the aftermath of a massive energetic robbery. You were practically mugged in the spiritual realm. And the worst part is that society tells you to just get over it. People tell you to let it go and move on, but they do not understand the sheer magnitude of what was actually stolen from you. You lost your sense of safety. You lost your blind trust in humanity. You lost the carefree version of yourself that used to laugh without overthinking everything. That is a profound loss that requires real grieving. You are allowed to be angry about the years they stole from you. You are allowed to mourn the immense effort you wasted on their empty promises. But here is the undeniable truth they tried to hide from you. You survived the absolute worst they could throw at you. They tried to bury you under their lies and their toxic projections. They tried to convince everyone else that you were the problematic one. But they forgot one crucial detail. They did not realize you were a divine seed planted by heaven. But there is a deeper layer to this phenomenon. Something massive is happening beneath the surface of your pain. The people who hurt you are about to face a harsh reality check. But before we get to their sudden downfall, you need to understand exactly why you were chosen for this specific battle. You might be wondering why the universe allowed this torture. Why did heaven watch you suffer for so long without intervening? Why did the divine justice seem to be asleep while you were being actively destroyed? There is a shocking reason behind this delay. The answer to this question will completely change how you view your entire past. It will shatter the illusion of your victimhood once and for all. Fun 3, Context 2. You have asked yourself why the universe stayed completely silent while you were being dragged through the mud. You begged for a sudden intervention. You prayed for the pain to stop. And when nothing happened, you assumed you were completely abandoned. You thought your pure faith was somehow defective. Let me shatter that terrible lie right now. Heaven did not abandon you in your darkest hour. The divine realm deliberately stepped back because a massive spiritual surgery was taking place. The universe had to let them fully reveal their true faces to you. If heaven had intervened too early, your gentle heart would have forgiven them again. You would have stayed in that toxic cycle forever. You would have continued pouring your sacred energy into empty vessels. Stop blaming yourself for staying too long. Stop thinking that your deep empathy is a sign of pathetic weakness. Your kindness was never the problem. The problem was that your light was entirely unprotected. Predators in the spiritual realm do not hunt for weak prey. They hunt for the absolute brightest lights. The people who targeted you did not choose you because you were easy to manipulate. They chose you because you carried a divine frequency that they desperately craved. They were spiritually bankrupt, and you were an endless fountain of life. Think about the very beginning of those connections. They studied your beautiful soul, they mirrored your deep desires, and pretended to be exactly what you needed. They created a flawless illusion to bypass your spiritual defenses. And because your heart is pure, you naturally assumed they had the exact same pure intentions. That is not a foolish mistake. That is absolute proof of your high vibration. You view the world through a lens of deep compassion. You cannot comprehend their deep malice because that dark frequency does not exist in your spiritual DNA. They weaponized your best traits against you. They used your profound loyalty as a heavy chain. Every time you tried to establish a boundary, they played the victim. They twisted the narrative to make you feel incredibly guilty for protecting your own energy. You were fighting a psychological war you did not even know you were in. And the constant gaslighting made you question your own basic reality. Do you remember those times you apologized just to stop the fighting? You swallowed your pride and your intuition just to keep the fragile peace. You shrunk yourself down to fit into their tiny boxes. You dimmed your blinding light because it made their dark shadows look too obvious. That was the ultimate sacrifice of your spirit. But heaven was documenting every single manipulation. The angels watched as they slowly dismantled your self-esteem. You felt completely shattered when they finally walked away or forced you to cut the cord. You thought you failed the relationship. You thought you were simply not good enough to make them stay. Listen to me very carefully. Their departure was not a rejection. It was a brutal divine interception. The universe forcefully removed them from your timeline because they were secretly blocking your ultimate blessing. They were assigned by the darkness to keep you distracted and thoroughly drained. They were squatters on your promised land. You were meant to inherit massive generational wealth and profound peace. But you cannot carry those massive blessings while carrying toxic parasites on your back. Heaven had to break your heart to save your entire soul. The pain of the separation was the necessary fire to burn away your dangerous attachments. You had to learn how to become the empath with boundaries. You had to experience the absolute worst of humanity so you could recognize the subtle red flags forever. This was a brutal training ground for a master of reality. The universe was forging you into a weapon of light that can never be manipulated again. And you passed the harsh test. You survived the crushing pressure without becoming bitter and cruel like them. You kept your beautiful heart open to God, even when it was actively bleeding. That is why you are called the Chosen One. You did the impossible. You broke the generational cycle of abuse simply by refusing to pass the pain forward. The deep exhaustion you feel right now is the final detox. Your physical body is literally purging their toxic residue from your nervous system. Every tear you shed is washing away their heavy chains. You are finally stepping into your era of quiet authority, and your energy now demands absolute respect without a single word spoken. You are no longer a tragic victim. You are a highly trained spiritual warrior who just graduated from the hardest battlefield. The validation you desperately sought from them was a complete illusion. You do not need their pathetic apologies to heal. Heaven is handing you a vindication so massive that it will completely erase the memory of your pain. But here is the most shocking part of it all. While you were busy healing in absolute silence, a terrifying shift happened in the spiritual realm. The people who walked away thought they won the war. They thought they successfully destroyed your spirit, but they made a fatal miscalculation. They forgot that when you steal from a chosen one, you are directly stealing from God. The protective shield around you was never permanently removed. It was only temporarily lowered for your harsh training. And now, that divine shield has slammed back into place with terrifying force. The season of your deep suffering is officially over. Now, I need you to pay close attention. The rules of engagement have drastically changed. The universe is now aggressively moving against the arrogant architects of your pain, but there is a hidden mechanism behind their sudden downfall. What is currently happening to them will absolutely shock you to your core. Let us expose the exact mechanism of their dark illusion. The people who abused your trust operate on a very specific and predictable frequency. They are entirely hollow inside. They do not possess a genuine soul connection to the divine source. And because they are cut off from the light, they must steal it from others just to survive. They are spiritual parasites hiding behind charming human masks. They build elaborate fake realities to convince the world they are powerful. They post happy pictures and brag about their fake success. But it is all a carefully constructed stage play. Inside their minds, there is nothing but chaos and absolute terror. They are constantly running from their own deep shame. And they use you as a mirror to reflect a better version of themselves. When they looked at you, they saw everything they could never be. They saw your effortless grace. They saw your profound ability to love without conditions, and it made them incredibly furious. They hated you for shining so brightly without even trying. So they made it their life mission to dim your brilliant light. They wanted to prove that you were just as broken and miserable as they were. They criticized your big dreams to keep you small. They played mind games to keep you constantly confused and completely off balance. They needed you to feel weak so they could feel strong. It is a pathetic and childish survival strategy. But they actually believed they were the ultimate masters of the universe. They genuinely thought their dark manipulation would last forever without any divine consequences. When they finally walked away, they wore a smug smile. They thought they had successfully drained your sacred anointing. They paraded around with the energy they stole from your spirit. People looked at them and praised their sudden burst of vitality. But stolen light never lasts very long. It burns through their toxic system like acid because it simply does not belong to them. You must understand their current state of absolute panic. The beautiful energy they stole from you has finally completely evaporated. They are back to being empty shells, but this time they cannot find another pure source to drain. The universe has placed a divine quarantine around them. Their old manipulative tricks are suddenly failing left and right. People are starting to see right through their charming masks. Their carefully crafted empires of lies are showing massive cracks. The friends they turned against you are finally waking up to the truth. The flying monkeys are starting to scatter, and the narcissist is completely terrified of being totally exposed. They fear public humiliation far more than they fear actual death. And heaven is currently orchestrating the perfect stage for their grand unmasking. You survived the terrible storm, and now you get to watch the glorious aftermath. Type 111 down in the comments to claim this alignment. By doing this, you are locking in your new frequency of absolute truth. You are declaring that you will never be a blind victim to their mind games again. The divine courts are recording your bold agreement right now. Step fully into your reclaimed power. They are desperately trying to build new supply chains. They are hunting for new empaths to consume and destroy, but God has securely marked them. A spiritual warning label has been placed directly on their forehead. Their new victims feel a sudden repulsion and walk away early. The narcissist is left completely alone with their own dark thoughts, and being alone with themselves is their ultimate personal hell. They thought their evil actions would simply fade into the past. They assumed time would just quietly erase their massive spiritual debts. But karma does not check a human calendar. Divine justice operates on a strict timeline of perfect precision. The exact amount of pain they deliberately caused you is being measured, and it is being packaged for a direct return delivery to their front doorstep. Do you want to know the most pathetic part? They are secretly watching you right now. They monitor your silence, and it drives them absolutely crazy. They expected you to chase them and beg for closure. They wanted you to post sad quotes and show the world you were suffering. But your profound silence is starving them to death. Your quiet elevation is their biggest nightmare. They realize they did not break you at all. They realize they accidentally forged you into a highly powerful weapon, and they are absolutely terrified of what you might do with your new authority. They know you hold all their dirty secrets. They know you could destroy their fake reputation with a single, honest conversation, but you do not even have to lift a finger to ruin them. Heaven is fighting this massive battle on your behalf. God says vengeance is mine, and the repayment is happening in real time. The narcissist is fighting invisible battles they cannot possibly win. They are losing money rapidly. They are losing status. They are losing the very things they sold their dark soul to acquire. Every closed door in their face is a direct response to your silent tears. They are trapped in a tight maze of their own making, and there is no emergency exit for them this time. The universe is tightening the heavy grip around their fake reality, but you must not feel sorry for them. Do not let your old empathy trick you into rescuing them again. They are precisely where they belong. They are paying the heavy price for trying to play God with your pure heart. They are about to face the ultimate spiritual consequence. The scales of divine justice are tipping heavily. But how do you know this is actually happening right now? How can you physically see the karma working against them? There are very specific signs happening around you today. I am going to reveal the exact proof that the universe has begun the final purge. The cosmic wheel of karma has officially started turning in your direction. The heavy gears of divine justice are grinding forward. They are crushing every single lie told against your name. And the arrogant people who thought they successfully buried you in the dark are now realizing they merely planted a highly favored divine seed. They feel a sudden shift. Their fake reality is collapsing right before their eyes. The money they made through deception is suddenly drying up. The fake friends they gathered are slowly turning their backs. Everything they touch is turning into absolute ash. And the most terrifying part for them is that they cannot find a single logical explanation for their sudden and rapid downfall. They try to fix the leaks in their sinking ship. They scramble to manipulate new people into saving them. But their old dark magic simply does not work anymore. Heaven has completely blocked their access to the frequency of favor and grace. The protective grace they previously enjoyed was actually spilling over from your pure aura while you were near them. When they walked away from you, they walked away from God. They thought they were leaving you stranded in the cold desert. They thought you would desperately beg for their return. But heaven immediately placed a massive spiritual wall of fire between your peaceful new timeline and their incredibly toxic energy. They are now completely cut off from the supply. This isolation is making them incredibly desperate and reckless. They are constantly checking your social media from fake accounts. They want to see you looking miserable and completely broken, but instead they see you glowing with a mysterious and profound inner peace. Your silent elevation is driving them absolutely crazy because they cannot claim credit for your success. They desperately want to reach out and touch your light again. They will try to send a casual text message to test the waters. They might pretend to offer a genuine apology just to see if your boundaries are weak enough for them to sneak back into your life. Do not fall for this fatal trap. This is the ultimate test. You must remain completely silent and fiercely protective of your peace. Your silence is the heavy hammer of divine justice. Every day you ignore their pathetic attempts, another brick falls from their fake empire. You are actively starving their demonic attachments by refusing to provide them with a single drop of your precious emotional energy. Let them starve. While they are slowly descending into madness, heaven is washing you clean. You are undergoing a profound spiritual purification process right now. The heavy brain fog is starting to lift from your mind. The chronic physical pain caused by their constant stress is melting away, and the universe is carefully rewiring your nervous system to handle a massive influx of wealth. You are being upgraded from a survivor to a powerful master. The empath who used to bleed for everyone is dead. A fierce spiritual warrior has taken your place. You no longer tolerate confusion disguised as deep love, and you absolutely refuse to entertain any relationship that requires you to compromise your profound connection to the divine truth. This level of strict boundary setting is highly attractive to heaven. God trusts you with massive blessings because you finally learned how to guard your gates. You are no longer leaking your anointing into dead soil, and every single ounce of your precious power is now completely directed toward building your own glorious kingdom while the harvest is finally ready. Take a deep breath and let that reality settle in. The storm you just survived was a brutal but necessary initiation. You passed the ultimate test by maintaining your pure heart while simultaneously developing a spine of absolute steel to protect your energy. They hated you for exposing their darkness, but their intense hatred was the exact fuel you needed. The narcissist was just a pawn in your grand cosmic story. They thought they were the main character of your entire life. They genuinely believed you would never recover from their cruel betrayal. But they were merely a heavy weight used to build your spiritual muscles before the main event. You are the chosen cycle breaker of your bloodline. Listen carefully to what I am about to tell you next. Do not let your old habits convince you to look back. The destruction of their fake reality is not your concern anymore. You do not need to watch them completely fall apart to know that divine justice is being served on your behalf. Keep your eyes fixed on the horizon. Your enemies are drowning in the exact poison they tried to feed you, and while they are struggling just to keep their heads above water, your ship is coming in. The massive compensation you were promised is literally docking at your port right now. But you must be spiritually aligned to receive the heavy cargo without sinking your own boat. Are you feeling a strange, buzzing sensation in your hands recently? Do you keep seeing repeating numbers every time you glance at the clock? These are not random coincidences trying to confuse your mind, but rather urgent notifications from the divine realm confirming that your new reality is finally loading. Your frequency is vibrating at the pitch of pure miracles. You have finally detached your worth from their broken opinions. You have stopped explaining your pure heart to people committed to misunderstanding you. And because you finally created this massive vacuum of space by cutting them off, the universe is aggressively rushing in to fill it with unbelievable blessings. Massive opportunities are quietly aligning to reward your endurance. Do not ignore this next sign. The universe is speaking to you clearly. You might be wondering how to recognize the exact moment your massive breakthrough actually arrives in your physical world. You need to know what it looks like so you do not accidentally miss it. I am about to reveal the definitive proof that your life is permanently changing. I told you the universe is bringing swift justice to your doorstep. But how do you know it is happening in your physical reality right now? There are very specific markers happening in your life today. I am going to reveal 5 undeniable signs that the scales of divine justice have finally tipped in your favor after all this time. Pay close attention because you might miss them if you are looking the wrong way. Number 1. You are experiencing an unnatural and profound peace in the middle of absolute chaos. The storms are still raging outside, but your inner world feels completely silent and totally undisturbed by the heavy drama. People around you might even think you are acting strange because you are no longer reacting. You used to panic and try to fix everything when things went wrong. But now you just watch things unfold with absolute detachment. This profound stillness is your new spiritual shield. It is the direct result of God fighting your battles for you behind the scenes. You do not have to lift a finger to defend yourself, because the divine forces are handling the heavy lifting and clearing your path. Your nervous system is finally resting after years of severe trauma. Number 2. You are seeing an explosion of divine synchronicities everywhere you look. You glance at the clock and see repeating angel numbers constantly. The number 111 or 777 follows you like a shadow all day. These are not silly little coincidences or random tricks of your tired mind, but rather urgent receipts confirming that your new reality is rapidly loading. Heaven is telling you that you are perfectly aligned with your highest timeline. Every time you see these numbers, the universe is winking at you. It is validating your silent tears and confirming that your massive reward is currently in transit. Do not dismiss these powerful signs just because your logical brain tries to rationalize them away, because heaven is communicating strictly through energy and frequency. Accept them completely. Number 3. Massive opportunities are suddenly replacing the exact things that were stolen from you. The narcissist took your confidence and tried to ruin your reputation. But suddenly, new people are entering your life who respect your boundaries profoundly and immediately recognize your brilliant light. You are being offered new positions or new financial pathways that seem to completely bypass the normal struggles and appear out of thin air. This is the law of divine multiplication in active motion. When a thief steals from a chosen one, they accidentally trigger a generational blessing. The universe is legally obligated to return what you lost multiplied by 7, and the doors opening for you right now are completely untouchable. The enemies from your past cannot access this new high level of pure favor. Number 4. You feel a sudden and absolute detachment from your abusers. This is the most crucial sign of all. You used to desperately wonder what they were doing and if they ever felt genuinely sorry for the terrible pain they caused your gentle heart. But now, you look back and you feel absolutely nothing at all. The heavy emotional chain has finally snapped. The traumatic bond has been permanently severed by the divine sword. You look at their lives and you just see sad, empty shells. They no longer hold any emotional power over your daily thoughts. This total indifference is your ultimate victory over their dark manipulation. You have completely starved their demonic attachments by withdrawing your precious emotional energy, leaving them to wander alone in the dark. Number 5. The truth about their dark nature is naturally exposing itself to the public. You do not have to say a single word to ruin them. People who previously believed their charming lies are suddenly seeing their toxic behavior clearly, and the fake reputation they built is rapidly dissolving. The flying monkeys are waking up from the dark spell and scattering in fear. Their carefully constructed empire of lies is actively crumbling down. This brings us to the ultimate revelation about your journey. These 5 signs are the physical proof that the scale of justice has permanently tipped in your favor, securing the victory you fought so hard to win. The hidden mechanism that blocked your prayers for years was never your lack of faith. It was the heavy weight of their dark energy dragging you down. And tonight that dark signal is officially overridden forever. The waiting season is officially over. Every closed door is being blown completely off its hinges right now. The dry desert you walked through alone has suddenly burst into an oasis of pure divine favor. The exact people who threw you into the fire are now forced to watch. They will see you emerge from the flames completely untouched and wearing a brilliant crown of light. You are no longer the empath who begged to be understood by broken people. The crucible of pain has forcefully forged you into the untouchable master of your reality. From this exact moment forward, your energy demands absolute respect without a single word being spoken. The people who thought your silence was weakness are terrified of your quiet power. Can you feel that massive shift in your spirit right now? That electric buzz in your chest is the frequency of absolute victory running through your veins. You are stepping into the exact timeline you were born to rule. The universe has cleared all the toxic debris from your path. And the divine wealth you were promised is flowing effortlessly toward your hands right now. Here is the ultimate truth you waited years to hear. The reason they walked away was not because your frequency was too low. It was because your light was incredibly blinding, and they could not handle the heat of your anointing. That brutal rejection was the hidden protection protocol heaven used to save your life. They were forcefully evicted from your sacred space. The cycle of generational trauma stops directly with you tonight. You became the heavy break in your bloodline that future generations will thank you for endlessly. Your tears literally watered the seeds of a massive financial and spiritual harvest that no demon in hell can ever touch or steal. You are a rare soul and a dangerous weapon of light. Take a deep breath and let the heavy weight of the past completely fall away. The pitch-black darkness has retreated behind you forever. The brilliant dawn of this new era is shining its brightest rays directly onto your spiritual crown. Heaven has prepared a glorious table for you right in the presence of your bitter enemies, and they must watch you feast while they starve. But you must actively lock in this powerful new reality. If you do not seal this divine frequency right now, the enemy will try to sneak back in through the cracks of your doubt. You need a physical anchor to ground this massive spiritual download into your physical body immediately. Do not let this glorious moment pass you by without taking deliberate action. The universe is watching your response in this exact second, to see if you are truly ready. I need you to prove your total obedience to the divine plan. Your hands must be completely open to receive the massive blessing that is waiting right outside your door. The anointing is incredibly heavy in this space right now. You must declare your absolute readiness to the universe. The fatal trap I warned you about earlier is officially here. It is the sudden appearance of a toxic counterfeit from your past, reaching out right when your massive blessing is standing at the front door. They will send a random text message or show up unexpectedly to test your new boundaries. Do not reply. That is the final test from the universe to see if you are truly ready to receive your glorious upgrade. If you break your powerful silence now, you will reset the entire cycle of pain. But if you stand firm in your quiet authority, the final heavy chain will snap forever. You are entirely protected by a divine energy shield that no dark force can ever penetrate. The universe is wrapping you in a heavy blanket of pure favor, and your financial and spiritual harvest is officially cleared for immediate delivery to your hands. You have walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and you did not break. You absorbed the absolute worst of humanity, and you transmuted that dark poison into blinding light. The people who took from you are currently facing their massive cosmic debt, but you are walking directly into the promised land with a brilliant crown on your head. The scales of divine justice have finally rested permanently in your favor. To lock in this glorious frequency and create an absolute shield of permanent protection around your aura, you must take physical action right now. Type the word Amen down in the comments to completely seal this reality. Let your keyboard be the anvil where your new destiny is permanently forged in fire. By typing this word, you are signing a sacred contract with heaven and declaring that you are the master of your reality. Do not let the enemy convince you to simply watch and scroll away in silence. Hit the subscribe button right now to establish a divine energy receiving station in your daily life. This channel is a highly calibrated portal of truth and vindication, specifically designed for the chosen ones. When you align your energy with this pure frequency, you anchor yourself at the highest vibrational state possible. You ensure that the narcissists and the energy vampires can never catch you off guard or unprotected ever again. You are building an impenetrable fortress of light around your family and your future generational wealth. And every single time you engage with this frequency, you are actively sending a powerful signal to the spiritual realm that you are ready to handle the immense power God is handing over to you today. If this fiery message has reignited the powerful faith inside your tired soul, do not keep this massive blessing entirely to yourself. There is a rare soul out there bleeding in the dark of despair right now. They desperately need a guiding light to survive their own brutal storm. Share this video with someone who needs to hear the absolute truth. Sowing this seed of profound hope today is actively multiplying the blessing for yourself. The universe operates on the flawless law of divine multiplication. When you become a clear vessel for heaven to pour through, heaven will make sure your own cup never runs dry. Tap the like button right now, like a heavy sword cutting through the invisible chains of your painful past. Let that simple click be the final physical motion that closes the door on your era of suffering and completely opens the floodgates of heaven. You are a fearless cycle breaker and the untouchable architect of your beautiful new timeline. The divine justice you prayed for in the dark is no longer a distant hope. It is an active operation unfolding perfectly in your exact physical reality today. Walk forward with your head held incredibly high, because you have won the invisible war. You are deeply loved, fiercely protected, and perfectly aligned forever.